Now, from very, very teacher practical based topics such as reading comprehension and asking questions, we now move to a topic that will involve the entire community of the school. Okay, because these are two different programs that are very important, and it's essential that we understand what they are and how they are similar and how they are different so that we can think of our options together as a learning community. So the topic is reading remediation and intervention. I know that a lot of us have very clear ideas already on what remediation is and what intervention is because they come from very clear words to remedy for remediation, to intervene for intervention. Both are terms that mean to help. Okay, these are words that are meant to help. And then in the context of reading development, we need to understand how they work, and then how we can do it themselves and how we can ask for help from others. So our goal is to understand the differences, the roles and strategies in building a complete, a whole literacy community. So this would be the outline for this presentation, for this discussion. So I'd like you to think about what you already know about these very specific topics. Why do we remediate? Why do we intervene? Um, do we remediate only or we intervene? Or do we do them both? How do we define them? What will be their key differences? What makes them valuable in themselves and then together? What will be your role as teachers? What kind of professional development do we all need? And then how do we coordinate our approach to make this happen for our learning community? It's important that we think about um, the students, who would need which, and then what kinds of examples do we can we find, no, and then we can anchor our understanding on, and then what would be the role of the principal. Okay, so the principal um, is not just an administrator. The principal is an educational leader in your learning community. So the support, the guidance of the principal who understands what needs to be done will be very important and necessary for us to provide the help that we need to give the students that we have. What resources do we need? What would be the responsibility of the community, and what kind of community should this be? And then finally, how do we move forward? What do we see as our shared vision, no, for our students in light of students or learners having difficulties learning how to read? So what makes remediation and intervention different from each other? They do sound like they are terms that are interchangeable. But there's a reason why you have two different terms, right? There are two different words. Dalawang magkaibang mga salita yan. So, ibig sabihin, iba siguro yung ibig sabihin ng isa kumpara dun sa isa. No? Kahit na meron silang malinaw na relasyon. So, sagot lang mga kakolab at pakishare ang inyong naisip na sagot sa tanong na ito. What makes remediation and intervention different from each other? Okay, mula sa ating kakolab na si Marichu, Sekretaryo. Reading remediation is fixing reading difficulties. Reading interventions are targeted actions or strategies given to the learners that show difficulty in reading. So, napakagaling na sagot. No? Napakagaling na sagot mula sa ating kakolab. Siguro, published researcher na si Miss Marichu. No? So, napaka-importante na yung idea na reading remediation is fixing existing reading difficulties, and then intervention seems to be the same way, but it's a little bit targeted. No, it's targeted, and then it is about teaching the learner strategies, and then I believe the reason why we're teaching the strategies is for the reader to do it continuously. No, parang tuloy-tuloy niyang gagamitin from now until the future. So it's a very interesting and a very insightful answer to our question. According to Miss Jane, we remediate to provide targeted support to address gaps. Okay, there are existing gaps. Okay, siguro co-author si Miss Jane. To remediate, provide targeted support to address gaps, misconceptions, or weaknesses so that they can catch up and succeed. Thank you very much. Okay, so there's a recognition of gaps. There's a recognition that somehow some parts of learning may have failed because it can happen for many different reasons, that you teach and then they did not learn it quite the same way as you expect them to. And then you remediate that situation so that you can remove or fill in the gaps so that the learner can catch up and succeed. So there's a recognition that the learner might have, might get delayed from reaching expectations for that level. So what we need to help that learner get back on track. Okay. Moving forward, thank you very much again for our excellent answers. So why does it matter? Why does it matter for us to think about similarities and differences? Because we're dealing with a problem that is so diverse and it's so complex that we need to be able to understand it as fully as we can. It matters because many students struggle with reading, but they don't require the same kind of support. So it is about um, thinking about the support in light of what the learner needs. So what they need will differ from each other. So the way we help should also differ. Teachers must understand the difference between remediation and intervention and how they work together in a literacy support program, because it's not exclusive. Hindi ibig sabihin na ako nagre-remediation na wala nang intervention yan. O nag-intervention na so hindi na dapat nagre-remediation yan. Sometimes it's not as easy and as simple as that. So let's look at definitions of remediation. The definition of remediation. At the simplest level, it is reteaching reading skills or content that students failed to master. The reason why I emphasize that at the simplistic level, it is reteaching of reading skills. But it's not as simple as that all the time. Sometimes they have learned it. Let's say you teach them a spelling rule. And then when you do your summative assessment, you see that the student seem not to have learned it. But that seeming not learning may not be accurate at all. No? Pwedeng some parts of the rule I understand, some parts I don't. So when we think about reteaching, it's not to reteach the whole thing, but sometimes parts of it, or maybe an additional set of practice will do. No, they have learned it. They have learned it in terms of what the rules mean, but might need a little bit more assistance in practice to make it a little bit more fluent. So it is used after students have fallen behind. And again, the falling behind can mean many different things. It can be falling behind completely, like I don't know how to use S, or I can understand S, but only for these words. but I don't know how to write the plural form of certain words. So may iba-ibang degrees then of need within remediation. So we use it for students who have fallen behind to help them catch up. It can be a whole class thing. Sometimes you anticipate the provision of help na hindi pa nangyayari yung ano, hindi ka pa masyadong sigurado pero may gut feel ka lang na mukhang kailangan kong balikan to. That's the reason why teachers review, di ba? You teach us a lesson on Monday and then on Tuesday before you go to the new lesson, nagre-review ka, di ba? So kasi ina-anticipate mo na it's possible that some of your students might have performed well yesterday but one night has passed and then baka iba na yung sitwasyon ngayon. And remember, they're learning other things as well, not just your subject. So in terms of the approach, it is to provide practice. And that can mean the exact kind of practice, or you modify the practice, or you re-explain the practice differently. So that is remediation. But the key thing is that you identify what should have been learned, and then you are alerted that they have not learned it the way they should have, and this is your effort so that they can have another opportunity to learn what they should have learned. It can be a very specific lesson. It can be a set of skills. It can be a big amount of skill. All right, so it will vary. It will depend on what you actually need. Now, when it comes to intervention, kaya kanina okay yung mga sagot dun sa tanong natin galing sa ating mga kakulab, na it is targeted, it is data-informed instruction designed to address reading difficulties before or as soon as they arise. So dito, from the example on remediation, let's say it's a lesson on how to write the plural form of verb. Let's say, okay, ginawa mo yon kasi meron ka na observe na a possible gap. Now, in light of intervention, it is when you now start to think, bakit kaya hindi naintindihan yung rule for writing the plural form of a noun? So you dig deeper, and then you do it individually. Titingnan mo, tatanungin mo halimbawa yung estudyante ay si Tin. So, kakausapin mo ngayon si Tin, aalamin mo, okay, ano to mga salitang ito? Okay. Tapos, ito isa. Tapos ito, pag dalawa na sila, ano kailangan natin gawin para masabi natin na plural na siya? So, in those kinds of data gathering, baka malaman mo na kaya pala hindi nag-a-apply yung rule kasi hindi niya naiintindihan kung ano yung noun. Diba? So it can be, intervention will now be a little bit more targeted. You use it at the earliest sign, and then you prevent future failure. Hindi lang yung failure in putting or making a noun in the plural form. It's everything about nouns. It's everything about how you use it. It's everything. It's placement in a sentence. Paano mo siya binabagayan ng verb and all of those things. So, kaya siya, it will prevent future long-term failure. So that's my example is an English grammar example, and it's applicable to all kinds of learning tasks. Okay. So the purpose is to prevent long-term failure. The setting should be smaller kasi medyo mas malalim yung kailangan mong i-address, no? Mas kompleto. So what it will be more ideal if you do it for a smaller group of students who have the same or similar kinds of difficulties, and best if you do it on a one-to-one basis outside of core instruction. So ito yung imi-meet mo after class if you're the one providing it. So it is systematic, it is intensive, and it's individualized, and it's evidence-based. yung evidence mo manggagaling dun sa what the child is actually manifesting or showing you. Okay. Ang key differences natin, you have pwedeng nagkakatulad dun sa maraming bagay at meron mga pagkakaiba. In terms of timing, the difference is remediation, the difficulty has happened, the gap has happened. Sa intervention, it can be that way as well, but our concern is we're preventing future difficulties. The focus would be, it can be for remediation, what is being learned now, and then for intervention would be the other future learnings that are at stake because of current level of performance. The instructional approach may be similar um, for remediation because you need to reteach certain skills. Now for intervention, yes, you do some reteaching, but you target something a little bit more foundational, and then you do instruction that prepares the child for future demands. And setting remediation can happen whole class when you address it, or a bigger group, smaller than the class. But for intervention, because of its nature, that it's a little bit more intensive, would be better if fewer students are involved, and if just one student, 1:1, would be best. Now, for the goal for remediation is to reteach the missed learning. So intervention is to address existing weaknesses that are causing all these difficulties and failure in learning. So parang mas inattack mo yung source, no, for the intervention. Sa remediation, all you're seeing are the symptoms or the manifestations of the gaps, but the intervention, you're addressing what's causing the gap. Kaya then it's a little bit more intense. All right. So they are both necessary. They are both ways of helping. And there are students who would require remediation. There are students who will require intervention. There will be students who will require both. So what they share is that it is a way of preventing future difficulties. It's strategic, and then the kind of support should be continuous. No? So this is how we organize what we know about remediation and what we know about intervention. Remediation, what will be our role as a teacher? Because in terms of remediation, we are dealing with what we're seeing right here, right now. We are in the best position to do it. Kasi nakikita mo no, andyan na, nasa harapan mo na, no, na okay, lahat sila tama yung lagay nila ng S dun sa noun, pero siya hindi. So pwedeng very respectfully, pwedeng very quietly, tabihan mo lang siya, tandaan natin kapag yung dulo ng word ay consonant, add mo lang yung S, okay na yan. Pero pag yung dulo ng word ay hindi siya consonant, ano nga ba yung consonant? Yung consonant basta hindi A, E, I, O, U, di ba? Ganito ka lang pag-isipan. Kailangan ba natin baguhin ng konti yung spelling pag sinabi natin na mas madami na? No, yung halimbawa party, nag-attend ka ng isang party, pero actually dalawang parties yung inatinan mo. So medyo may kailangan pagbabagong gawin. So it can happen that quickly and that fast, and then it's remediation right away. No? Pero si intervention, medyo kailangan pag-isipan, bakit kaya niya hindi nakuha? Bakit kaya niya, let's say, bakit laging D yung B niya? No? Pagkatapos sa lahat ng subject, whether English or Filipino, basta letter B baliktad, there must be something else going on here. And then, if you are a classroom teacher, you might not have all the answers. So that's why it's important to work together with people in your school, because another teacher, or your supervisor or your principal can have the answer or can help find the answer. Okay, back to remediation, we use different strategies. And then as teacher, we need some professional development. Kaya din in place naman yung mga lock sessions natin, di ba, sa bawat school. Kayo, manggaling sa inyo, ma'am, sabihin mo sa principal, ma'am, kailangan namin, anong pwedeng gawin kapag ganito? Kapag nahihirapan sa vocab, kapag nahihirapan sa writing, ano yung pwede kong gawin bilang teacher? Para yung, ano mo, yung seminar mo, ayon doon sa pangangailangan mo. Okay. Now, because intervention is more intensive, you might need external help. I'm sure I know that not all the time we have access to this kind of help, but being able to identify that we need this help is a big first step. And then it should happen together as a team in your learning community. Because some intervention requires the work of a reading specialist. Some would require for intervention to work well. The diagnostic process is a little bit more systematic, is a little bit more scientific. Parang baka kailangan niya ng developmental pediatrician para tingnan ano yung nagiging problema. Need advanced training in science of reading and multisensory methods. Kapag yung bata, hindi niya matandaan, kahit ano nang ginawa mong tumbling, no, para matandaan niya yung rule for spelling or rule for reading words. Pero bakit pa nagsulat laging walang vowel? Ano nangyayari? No, bakit lagi siyang walang vowel? No, nandun lahat ng consonants pero walang vowel. Kailangan ng mas malawak na kaalaman sa reading process, no, na hindi naman natin pwedeng i-expect sa lahat. All right. In terms of professional development, tayo within the classroom, regardless whether it is for remediation or for regular instruction, we need instruction. We need to understand the reading process more solidly. We need to understand the role of formative assessment. The kind of testing you do, not because you want to give a grade, but because you want to get information from the student, so that that information will guide your teaching, whether it is for regular teaching or whether it is teaching for remediation. We need to learn what it means to differentiate instruction. That if your class has 3 groups of readers, the way to teach reader A and reader B and reader C should be different because their needs are different. Because if you teach in the same way, it will only work for one group of learners. Paano naman yung dalawa? Hindi na sila matututo? Tutulog na lang sila? Hindi pwede, di ba? Kailangan lahat sila natututo at the same time. And then, there has to be that way for us to learn, to know, to be alerted that we need additional help. And then, siguro mas insightful na pagtingin sa test results, hindi lang 5/10. Halimbawa, nagpa-spelling ka, tapos, o nagpa-reading comprehension ka, no? Nagpa-reading comprehension ka ng test sa isang kwento. Tapos, 10 questions yon, short answers lang. Tapos, ang score niya, 5/10. Hindi enough yung 5/10, di ba? Kailangan, anong question yung nasagot niya, ano yung question yung hindi niya nasagot. Dahil umattend kayo ng aking first topic na merong levels of comprehension at merong questions that correspond to the level of questions, pwede kang may question 1 to 3 are all propositional. Question 4 to 6 are all a surface. Question 7 is discourse. Question 8 to 10 are situation. Paano kung nasagot ang pattern ng sagot niya ay surface lang? Alam mo na kung paano mo siya kailangan turuan, di ba? Alam mo na kailangan kitang iakyat from surface. Kasi perfect niya yung surface eh. Kailangan mo siyang iakyat into to deeper levels of comprehension. And that's when you are more, kailangan mas matyagang pagtingin sa resulta ng mga tests. Para doon mo nakikita, ito yung common mistakes. No? So, ganito ko siya i-respond. No? Hindi lang siya numbers. Sa intervention, if you do desire, and I hope many of you will desire to pursue intervention where you are, find support, find funding for additional learning, a master's degree in reading. You can get it from PNU, from UP, from UP Open University, wherever you are in the country, you can enroll and get a master's degree and get additional understanding about the reading process. That will allow you to become an intervention specialist. Additional knowledge of diagnostic and prescriptive teaching. Kung may budget naman dyan, tapos may kamag-anak sa States, pwede kung order ng libro sa Amazon. Hindi ako nagpo-promote ng Amazon. Example ko lang yan. Pero hanap kayo ng libro. Kahit isang libro sa isang taon. Mag-invest. Hanapin niyo yung tamang libro na makakatulong sa inyo. Additional knowledge on progress monitoring and an error analysis. Napaka-importante ng error analysis. Kasi kung titingnan mo, anong hindi niya naiintindihan, sinasabi na niya sa iyo eh. 'Di ba? Kung paano siya magsalita, papakinggan mo, paano siya magsulat, paano siya sumagot ng tanong, lahat 'yon, no, nagbibigay ng impormasyon sa atin kung ano ang naiintindihan niya at ano ang hindi niya naiintindihan. Kailangan natin ng coordinated approach. Meaning, meron kang isang bata nahihirapan, anong klaseng remediation ang pwedeng ibigay? Tapos kailangan na ba niya ng intervention? Pwedeng totoo lahat 'yun eh, 'di ba? Kasi ang dami mong kailangang matutunan at maintindihan sa reading. So, pwedeng parang nagre-remediation ka, nag-i-intervention ka din para mas mabilis yung kanyang pag-catch up dun sa kailangan niyang mahabol, no? Who needs what? Sa remediation, students struggling due to missed instruction or lack of practice. So yung missed instruction, it's possible, paano pag nagkasakit, umabsent ng matagal, o yung paaralan ginamit na evacuation center kasi bumagyo, or malapit kayo sa Taal, tapos may smog. 'Di ba ang daming dahilan para magkaroon ng gap because of missed instruction. And then also, in terms of lack of practice, kulang. Akala mo enough na yung practice, pero hindi pa pala. Pwedeng enough na siya for 70% of your class, but for 30, they could have needed more. And then, because they lack that additional practice or that required practice, they didn't get to learn it. So, ganun posible siyang mangyari that way. Now, for students who need intervention, the difficulty is persistent. Laging nandun. No? Nag-remediation ka na, nandun pa din. Kasi may something underlying. No? Let's say in word reading, hindi niya kaya pag lumampas ang 2 syllables. Kasi yung kayang tandaan ng brain niya hanggang 2 syllables lang. So, anong gagawin mo? Diba? Iwasan lahat ng 3 syllable and more. Hindi yun pwede. So hanapin natin what will help this child process longer words. Will helping the child become more sensitive to syllables. Will that help? Will that help my learner address the difficulty? And then posible rin sa iba, bakit hindi matandaan yung meaning? Could it be that meron siyang difficulty clustering the words that mean the same together, and then for the approach to be a little bit more conceptual para mas matandaan niya? It can be it can all happen that way. So the difference would be in terms of severity, how serious, what caused the difficulty, and then what design and response do we provide in terms of our teaching. That will help our students learn more. So ito yung mga pag-iisipan natin. Remediation ba kailangan ito or intervention? No? Okay. Examples. No? Examples in terms of very specific areas of learning or learning to read. For word reading, the choice can be, kailangan ko lang ituro uli yung isang phonic rule o isang phonic concept or isang phonic knowledge. Like TCH. The rule about TCH is that it's always at the end of a word after a short vowel. So, kaya meron kang match, patch, hitch, no? Nakahitch na sa dulo. Pero paano yung ibang word like branch? Okay. Bakit siya CH lang, but hindi siya TCH? So meron din rule doon. Kailangan mo ituro. Kasi yung branch bago yung ch, may N. Yun lang pala yun, teacher. Di mo sinabi kanina eh. Sinabi ko kaya sa'yo yan. Huwag na kayo mag-away. Alright. Pero may klase ng difficulty na it can be a little bit more persistent. That is not just a matter of reteaching a very specific phonic rule. Pwedeng, let's go deeper into understanding how phonic works. Phonics is the relationship between sound and symbol. In terms of fluency, baka may bata kailangan lang ng extra practice and then okay na siya. Wala siya talagang difficulty with reading the words or the pace is okay. But there are kids who cannot really go beyond word by word reading on their own. Somebody has to support them do it. No? Vocabulary can be a matter of reteaching certain word meanings. Some cannot figure out that the reason why the word is long is because there are parts of it. There is such a thing as a root word. May root word ka, tapos meron kang word part at the beginning, may word part ka at the end. So baka yung hindi na iintindihan, kaya hindi siya nag-move forward. No? The student is not moving forward. And then for comprehension, pwedeng review lang. Read the story again. And then here are questions. Think about the questions before you read the story. Or sometimes, they cannot really go beyond surface. Kaya kailangan ituro mo, this is how you do, this is how you answer this kind of question. Pay attention to this fact and relate it to this other fact. That cannot be just within the context of remediation. Now to go deeper. Is reading intervention only for children with special needs? That's a difficult question to answer. No? Okay. Let me try. The first quick answer is that yes, reading intervention will be for students with special needs. That's the quick answer. Because by qualifying for intervention, it means that the difficulty is pervasive, it is persistent. So laging nandun yung difficulty. Now, children with special needs are, they are born with some condition that make it hard for them to learn what a regular or a neurotypical student will be able to learn on their own. Yes, so in that light, yes, only for children with special needs. However, ito yung malaking however. We have been discovering over the past 2 decades that when learners are not receiving the instruction that they need, even though they are born with, as a neurotypical child, even though they're not born with any condition, but if they're not taught correctly, eventually they will start to show difficulties that are like the difficulties of children with special needs. So may posible siyang mangyari na dahil hindi siya natuturuan ng tama, hindi nagkakaroon siya ng difficulty na parang meron siyang special needs. No? So but that is a very complex situation. So kapag that is the case, na you have a child who is not a child with special needs, but for several years has not been getting the kind of teaching he needs, pwede siyang mukhang special needs na rin. It can happen. And we have seen it happen. Okay? Yes. All right. Now, going back, in terms of word reading, we know these are cases for remediation. When we need to reteach certain phonic patterns from earlier grades. Let's say grade 3, pero dapat the expectation is the child can read long vowel sounds for English, but for some vowel sounds, they cannot figure it out. Let's say OU. Hirap na hirap sila sa OU, no? The sound is ow. Halimbawa, hindi nila mag-gets yun. Tapos, hindi dahil merong persistent, kasi nababasa lang na yung EA eh. So, hindi siguro siya pang intervention. Kasi, very particular on that particular pattern. Baka kailangan ko lang ituro yung pattern na yon. Okay? So, and then provide additional practice for that particular phonic element. And then some kids, because they don't read often, they don't acquire a lot of high frequency words. Not because they can't learn them, but because they don't read often enough. Kasi yung high frequency words, you build them up by reading all the time. Now, if they're not reading all the time, they don't have enough practice, this will not grow. So that would be a problem. And then the way to solve it is through remediation. Now, for intervention at word reading, this is when kahit anong long vowel patterns, hindi niya magets. No? Hindi niya maintindihan. EA, IE, EE, OO, OU, OW, hindi niya maintindihan, IGH. So, baka hindi lang to reteaching. Baka kailangan itong balikan. Help the child sound it out. Maybe it begins with a fundamental understanding that you have a short vowel sound and a long vowel sound. That is not just a, e, o, o. Meron kang a, meron kang I, E, O, U. And then yung A can be spelled in different ways. Diba? Pwede may consonant E sa isa, tapos may AI yung isa, AY yung isa. So baka nandun yung kailangang understanding na hindi niya maintindihan on his own. So it requires intervention. So what that probably needs, that particular child needs, is something a little bit more sequential. No? To inform everybody, mga kakolab, may particular teaching strategy called the Orton-Gillingham approach developed by Samuel Orton, and I forgot her name, somebody Gillingham. And then they put together this curriculum. Ano yung sequence of what needs to be taught first and how it goes on to the end. And then how to teach it in a particular way. I'll teach you the letter or the letter combination and the sound, and then combine it with a motor movement, and then the explicit teaching of rules. Baka yun ang kailangan niya. Kasi hindi enough yung what he's getting from class. No? And then daily intensive practice with controlled text. Pag sinabing controlled text, the difficulty is, let's say, the EE vowel pattern, edi yung kwento niya puro EE yung laman. No? Para ma-practice niya yung pagbasa ng salitang may EE. No? So kaya siya magiging mas sequential, nagiging mas systematic, nagiging mas intensive because of the nature of the difficulty. So that will separate remediation from intervention with regards to word reading. For fluency, it can differ in these terms. They have no problem actually reading. It's just that they're not fast enough. It's just that they a little bit sounding robotic. So the way to remediate that is to give more practice with some feedback. Now, students with more severe, more intense difficulty with fluency may need more targeted drills. Hindi pwedeng kahit anong text na lang gamitin mo. Kailangan nakalinya yung text mo. From text 1, text 2, text 3, text 4. And then it is formulated according to length, according to content, according to complexity. It has to be one-on-one because you need to listen to this child. Ikaw, teacher, or the one providing intervention, needs to hear this child read while the child is reading, at the same time you guiding. So it is when you can provide feedback and modeling immediately, and then to build up your knowledge of this child's reading behavior. It's one-on-one. It's use of time reading to build automaticity. Automaticity is the characteristic of being automatic. It's the process is happening even without thinking about it too seriously. Parang kanina sa ano, 'di ba? Sa reading comprehension process. Meron kang automatic processes, meron kang strategic. Pareho din yung ibig sabihin natin dito. For vocabulary, for remediation are students who need a little bit more review and some reteaching of meaning, and then to use of devices such as flashcards and some maps on the wall. Now, for intervention, it is when students will show they don't understand prefixes and suffixes. They think it's, it's just tuloy-tuloy. It's just one piece of word. Kaya yung, let's say, importation, hindi niya yung maintindihan na, ay, galing siya sa import. No? Or yung importation, kaya siya related sa exportation kasi pareho silang may port. No? Na ibig sabihin is to carry. So, kaya connected lahat yan. Import, export, deport, no? Because of the root word. The idea that longer words will have roots, no? And then you get the meaning from there. And then you think about what comes before and what comes after. Like the word careful, it comes from care. Full of care. Lee, do it with care, carefully. No? So may mga ganong, baka may mga bata na nandun sa level ng confusion. So that's why it will take a little bit more effort and more time to understand and to practice. Now for comprehension, some kids will just need a reminder that this is the story structure. There's the beginning, there's a rising action, there's conflict, there's resolution, and then you have your fall, your resolution at the end, or your denouement. So reminder lang, no? And then some practice in remembering details and facts. So, but some will not put together the information on their own. They think they're all discrete and separate. So that's why these are the kids who will need intervention to think about, okay, let's begin with the title. Okay, what is the title telling us? And start thinking about what the story could be based on the title. Okay, and then okay, let's read it together. So let's let's map what we're reading. Yeah, this is a girl's name, so it must be a person. And then you see this picture, and then the word appears that this must be the dog's name. And can you tell me what the dog is doing? Ng mga gano'n na mas intensive, na kailangan isang bata lang yung kausap mo. No? And then the scaffolding of questions. You ask a questions, they don't get it. And then from that same question, you break it down, break it down, break it down. And then go back to the original question. Kasi hindi nila magets eh. Isang baksak yung question. So you have to unpack it for them. And it's so difficult to do in a bigger group. No? Hirap siyang gawin in a classroom setup or even in a small group setup. Ideally, kausap mo yung bata, mag-isa lang siya. And then using of graphic organizers to help students map and organize, visually organize what they're learning. Okay, so given all of that, no, remediation and then intervention, what do you think your principal should do to support both remediation and intervention efforts? I hope you have a positive, friendly, professional relationship with your principal so you can think about this question like objectively. Ano kailangan rin gawin, ma'am o sir, together? What do you think the principal should do? Being a principal, um, yeah, I know that it is my job to manage resources, to find out what my teachers need, and then to find out if I can get more. And then Miss Christina is agreeing with me that it's my job, it's the principal's job to find resources. And then what other assistance can the principal find in the community? And then because of online technology, the community is bigger, it's wider, and then resources can be found. So it's an important job of the principal, to find the resources needed and also the knowledge that can be found. Thank you very much. Support. Can you go back? Support in terms of provision of learning resources. Yes, I agree with you, Miss Jennifer. Yeah, monitoring and supervision when the programs are in place. Somebody needs to check, somebody needs to supervise, and part of the supervision and the monitoring is also to encourage, di ba? To to keep our teachers motivated to do this, and then to know that the teacher is not alone. Thank you very much for all your questions and your contributions. Provide capacity building, according to Miss uh, Novi Rapisura. Provide capacity building intended for crafting intervention or remediation materials. Yes, because sometimes the materials can be teacher made, no, and then putting in the time and the structure for that to happen will be a great help for teachers who are providing either remediation or intervention. Okay, so these are teachers, these are the things that the principals can do, and then we all know, we agree, no, we have talked about many of these together. Establish a system that is systematic. Ano muna? Sino muna yung pang-remediation? Ano yung system that we all can all agree with? How do we make decisions from first layer of finding out to the next layer of finding out to the next? Your tiered system of identification, and then classification, and then assignment. Clarifying our roles, our instructional roles within the school. And then through all these process, um, we identify what kind of professional development programs do we need. We don't have to wait for central government or regional office, or even the city division office will have to identify for us. Sometimes we can find out ourselves what do we need, and then maybe find it. No, allocate time and resources, monitor progress, and support collaboration. So the principal is very important in putting a lot of these systems in place and making sure that the system is continually evaluated so that it's worth keeping, ba? Hindi siya unnecessary, no? So because we need to be efficient with our use of our time and the use of our resources. Now, in terms of our resources, we need qualified teachers all the time, forever, everywhere. We need evidence-based programs. The reason why we are in favor of evidence-based programs is because we want to be efficient. Parang huwag na tayong mag-imbento kung meron namang existing, di ba? Kasi minsan mag-uubos din ng oras yung kailangan imbentuhin mo, kailangan simulan mo from scratch. But what if there are programs that have been proven to work, and that can save you time, no? And then medyo may confidence ka doon sa programang ipapatupad mo. Schools need good assessment tools. Make use of what is existing and find others that can be used. Again, kailangan masigasig sa paghahanap ng resources. Ito, pwedeng gumawa ka ng sarili mo, especially, halimbawa, dun sa comprehension, my expectation is that you will be able to do a good comprehension tool based on our understanding of the levels of comprehension. Kapag malinaw sa teachers, sa mga kakolab, yung idea ng surface level, ng proposition, ng discourse, ng situation, pag nagawa mo yung mga tanong at tinanong mo sa bata, malalaman mo kung sino yung nahihirapan sa anong particular na question. And that is a good assessment tool. Okay, and then, of course, one of the most difficult things to do is to schedule. When do you do it? When can you possibly do these things? No? Kaya importante yung being efficient. Kasi kung hindi kaya ang 1 hour after school, baka pwedeng 30 minutes lang. No? Whether it's remediation or intervention. So, saan siya kailangan gawin? Sa bakanting classroom. Yung ganun ba na a lot of intentional thinking is necessary for a lot of these things to work. Kailangan talaga meron tayong sasadyaing pag-isipan, sasadyaing planuhin. Okay. For our community, we need to involve them. No? Nung bata ako, pag sinabing may PTA meeting, alam na ng nanay ko, ay hihingi na naman ng balde yan teacher mo. Ay hihingi na naman sila ng electric fan. Or kailangan naman ng pondo para linisin yung banyo. So hindi siya hindi siya laging ganon. So baka pwede the support that we get from communities and families can be towards our efforts for remediation and our efforts for intervention. We need to engage families. We need to respect the expertise. We need to find out what our teachers are good at and to maximize what they're good at because these are gifts. We need to communicate the things that we're planning for the kinds of students that we have in the way that we want to help them. We need to keep building partnerships with families, with people in the community who you know are experts. Baka may kapitbahay ka na alam mo na make access sa different kinds of services that your school and your learners will need. And finally, because it's a difficult thing to do, we need to do it together. We need to help each other. We can work together towards preventing failure because failure is not fun. Failure has severe consequences to the lives of our learners. And if we can prevent failure, that's a lot of things, that's a lot of help that we can do in our lifetime. And if we can do it to as many children as possible, that would be great. Use the strength of our teachers wisely. Kaya din yung unburdening of menial administrative stuff, baka pwedeng hindi na siya kasama sa kailangan gawin ng teacher para may oras yung teacher para pag-isipan yung mga ganyang bagay. Kanino ako pwede mag-provide ng remediation? Paano ko iisipin yung intervention? Create equity for everyone kasi equity is important. Equal chance. No? You're not saying that everybody will be equal, but everybody has the same chance of success. Help everyone build ownership for reading success. That I know I can get help from people, but I need to do it for myself as well. And then position reading as a gateway for lifelong learning. Because hindi pa naiimbento yung alternate way of storing information as efficiently as written language. So, kahit sabihin mo may video, may podcast, may reels na nagpapakita ng information, not just in written form, but the important, the complex information are still stored as written text. And then access to the written text will empower our lives for productivity, for happiness, for peace, and for many other good things. And with that, I wish you all the best in thinking about this, and then good luck to all our kakolabs.